Hey, Yolanda Scarborough here. As I promised, I'm going to be doing a video today making some dal soup. Dal is D-A-L-L. This is a lentil soup that I love so very much. And I'm gonna be making this soup live with us today. So this soup is a healthy vegetarian, matter of fact, this is a vegan recipe, so that's even better. This is a vegan recipe. We're going to be making dal soup. It is delicious. I love it. It is one of my favorite things to make. So we're gonna just get started. So the first thing we're gonna do, this recipe is fairly easy, and when I'm done, I will put the recipe in the highlights. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start off with about a tablespoon of your favorite oil. It could be avocado oil, it could be olive oil, canola oil is a lighter oil, so we can start off with that. And to that oil, we are going to add about a medium onion chopped. We're gonna add a medium onion chopped. And we're just gonna let that onion go ahead and sweat itself out in there. Again, I'm Yolanda Scarborough. I'm from Carolyn's Kitchen, and I'm gonna be cooking live with you today. So in our skillet, we have our onion going. We have a tablespoon of oil, and we're just gonna let it sweat out. Now, as we're cooking today, we're also gonna be talking about New Year's resolutions. It's crazy how over the past few years, New Year's resolutions has become such a demonized conversation. Like, I ain't making no, what is wrong with starting your new year off and wanting to make some goals? What's wrong with that? I truly do not know what's wrong with it. Now, New Year's resolution can get kind of delusional. So I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about you, like for instance, I go to the gym, I have a membership at my local Y. And I try not to go to the gym during like the first 3 weeks of January. Everybody knows why. Hi, everyone. You all know why. Because the first few weeks of January, everybody has their New Year's resolution that they're going to go work out. So the gyms are so packed that we can barely even function. So if you're just joining us inside of this pan, we are making dal soup, D-A-L-L. It's a lentil soup. So inside of this pot, rather, is a tablespoon of whatever kind of oil you want to use. And we are sweating out our veggies. So again, back to the New Year's resolution, which is our conversation that we're going to be talking about today. I don't have any problem with New Year's resolution, but a goal without a plan is just a wish, right? So I'm the type of person where I can go goal overboard. Like, I can just do too much. I can just go overboard because I believe there's a time for everything. There's a time to make goals, but there's also, it shouldn't be your whole life. Your whole life should just not be from one goal to rest. Take a chill pill. And so with the New Year's resolution, it's great. I think there's nothing wrong with saying, I want to be better than I was last year. But if you're not doing anything to be better than you were last year, it's gonna be just another year. So we don't want that. So we have our onions in here, and we want to sweat them out so they're a little bit transparent. And that is about a medium onion we have in there. So in that pot, we have a medium onion, and we have a tablespoon of oil. The next thing we're gonna add to this, because our onions are starting to be pretty transparent, don't leave your spoon in there, especially if it's metal, because the heat will come through and it'll protect it, and you'll grab it and it'll be very hot. So the next thing we're gonna add to this is about 4 whole cloves of garlic. So again, we're making dal soup. Inside of our dal soup, we have our medium onion chop. We have a tablespoon of whatever kind of oil you like. We're not something that's really overpowering because the lentils are light and wonderful. We don't want to overpower them. We're gonna add about 4 cloves of garlic to that. We're gonna add a Indian spice called garam masala. If I'm saying it wrong, please forgive me. I'm gonna go ahead and add that in there, and it's gonna start to smell like really awesome and really fragrant. And we're actually, instead of using cumin today, powder, we're gonna actually use cumin seeds. So we're gonna take our cumin seeds, we're gonna pour that in there. And this is, if you could smell it, you all, the fragrance is delightful. It's absolutely wonderful. I'm stepping over here for a second because that particular spoon is not making me happy. And if you want to, if you're a spicy kind of gal or girl, so this is what it's looking like. We have our garam masala, we have our onions, we have our garlic. And then, if you like a little spice, you can also I'm gonna add this smoky hot chili pepper. It's very hot, but you can just add cayenne pepper if that's what you have at home. So I'm gonna add that. Be careful. This is a smoky and hot chili powder. I'm gonna add that, and we're just going to stir. Literally for about a minute till everything gets fragrant, because what we don't want to do, we don't want to burn this, because it will taste burned if we let it the seeds cook too much. Like you see the smoke coming up, maybe you can't. Okay, the next thing we're gonna add our broth. It is 6 cups of broth. This right, vegetable broth. Remember, this is a vegan meal or vegetarian. So this one right here is about 4 cups. It is 4 cups in there, and we're gonna stir that in there, and then I have another 2 cups here, because the total for the broth is 6 cups. So if you're just joining us, inside of this pot we have a tablespoon of whatever oil you want to use. We have a medium onion in here. We have about 4 cloves of garlic in here. We have garam masala. It is 2 teaspoons of that. Oh, I forgot to add our turmeric. We also have 2 teaspoons of turmeric over there, and we also have a teaspoon and a half of ginger. Again, I will give you this recipe. And that is the base. And again, if you could smell it, it smells absolutely wonderful. And then we have right here, these are the piece de la resistance. These are red lentils. Now, why this recipe has us use red lentils, I'm not sure, because guess what? At the end of this recipe, they're not going to be red. They're going to be just like any muddled color, green lentil or brown lentil. And so we're gonna add our lentils. If you make sure you rinse your lentils, not for starch purposes, just for literally dirt and germ purposes. So go ahead and rinse your lentils. So again, we have all of that cooking in the pot. We have our lentils, we have our garam masala, we have our turmeric, we have our garlic, and we have our cumin seeds all going forth in that. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna let this heat, and we're gonna allow the soup to simmer uncover for about 15 to 20 minutes. So I'm actually going to put this on the back eye over here so I can talk to you guys. Actually, I'm gonna just move it over to a different eye, and we're gonna turn this one off, and we're gonna let this go over here. So inside of here, that was stupid of me. Use one of these. So inside of our pot, again, if you're just joining us, we are making dal soup, and inside of our dal soup is a great flavorful Middle Eastern Indian type soup, depending, because you can make a Middle Eastern version. I'm making the Indian version. Inside of it, we have about a medium onion that has been sweated down with your favorite oil, about a tablespoon of that. We have 2 teaspoons of garam masala. We have 2 teaspoons of turmeric, and we have a teaspoon and a half of ginger, or you also can use about a nice big chunk of grated ginger. And we're just gonna let that sit over there and simmer. Now, the last thing that we're gonna add after this simmers, we're gonna add some whole, yeah baby, we're gonna add some whole fat coconut milk, and then we're gonna also add some diced tomatoes, and then we're gonna add our lemon juice, which is gonna give it that nice little bite at the end. So while that's over there simmering, I'm watching that clock, we're gonna be talking about New Year's resolutions. Again, as I stated earlier, why are we demonizing New Year's resolutions? Why can people not make New Year's resolutions? What's wrong with that? I mean, I get people that get on Facebook, and they come on the page and they're like, we ain't doing no resolution and we don't want to hear about yours either. Why? Why can't we make New Year's resolutions? And if you just are joining me again, I'm Yolanda Scarborough, and welcome back to Cooking with Soul. Something I do that I love to do is wonderful. So again, we're making the lentil dal, one of my favorite meals. Actually, when this soup is done and I get out of work, I'm gonna make a pot of rice, and that's gonna go on top of the rice, because this is actually my meal. So, because it's a new year, I thought this would be the perfect moment to talk about New Year's resolutions, but maybe not in the way that you all are used to. So I'm gonna move my little screen in front of me so I can see exactly what I'm supposed to be saying, because I take notes to make sure I stay on task. So we talk about these New Year's resolutions, right? And many of us already, it is like literally what, the 7th day of the new year? And many of us have probably already broken a resolution. So one of the things that I do is not necessarily a resolution. Our church does a consecration. And during this time, we change our eating for the month. We call it a fast. So for this particular week, we can only eat vegetarian fruits and vegetables. Now, I'm diabetic, so that has become a problem because the fruits are actually raising my sugar up, because fruit is wonderful, but it's just nature's candy. So I have still kept with the fast, if you will, the consecration, because we believe that this is something that's going to help us throughout the new year. So many people in January, they change their eating, they change their diet for whatever reasons, and there is nothing wrong with that. So if you already broken a new year's resolution or decided not to do one, you are definitely in the right place, right? So I'm sorry, Jesus. This is not a new year, new you conversation. I am not a fan of the new year, new you conversations at all, because if you don't make changes in the old you and come into the new year, it's just going to be old year, new you conversation. So I'm not about that, right? So as I'm cooking, I want to invite you to notice comes up when you hear the word resolution, right? When you hear the word resolution, what comes up? Is it excitement? Is it pleasure? Is it exhaustion? For me, I get very excited with the word resolution. I get very excited because I liken it to the word goals, and I am a goal-oriented person. I believe in making goals. My life has been run on goals. I started my business based off of goals. I wish I had known more about goals when I was raising my children. I could have had more of a dynamic kind of, I have 6 children, and they were between the ages of, at one point, my youngest child, let's see, he would have been 9, and my oldest child would be 19, but there's 6 children all in there, and goals would have helped me a lot. So resolutions are often rigid. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about more so, what's the word? Intentions. Intentions are more relational. Resolutions can be rigid. So when you go to talking about resolutions, of course, people get that little stank face, because they're like, no, we don't believe in resolutions. But I've been wondering, right? Because I talked about it being rigid, and I talked about resolutions sometimes even make people depressed. What if nothing about you is actually broken, right? Because that's what resolutions or goals tend to, like if something's broke, I'm gonna fix it, or this fix it mentality with goals. But what if you're already okay? What if you're good? And we all have things that we can work on. There's nobody that can say that any part of you is broken but you, because you know better, right? And you know why you're doing a resolution, and you know what your goals are. But now when I think of resolutions, when I used to think about it negatively, it did used to impact me, because I was like, child, I'm not going to keep this resolution. But now when I think about resolutions, I ask myself, first of all, who am I trying to impress? If I'm trying to impress somebody else with the change I'm making, that is a thing right there to tell you, no, this is not the resolution or the goal to make. If it is, you're doing a resolution or a goal, and yes, we are cooking. We have some lentil soup over here that's simmering. We just started that a few minutes ago. We have our onion, we have our garlic, we have our garam masala, we have our turmeric, we have our oil, and some ginger over there, and some cumin seeds going. But while that is over there simmering, we are also talking about these resolutions. So start with, who am I trying to impress? If your goal is really something for you, say for instance, my goal is to eat less sugar, because I notice when I eat sugar, my energy goes away, or I'm diabetic, so I don't need to be eating that. Okay, that's a nice resolution, and that's for you. But if you're saying, okay, I want to get my skin tight because I want to meet a man or a woman, and no, if you want to get your skin tight for you, that's okay. So who am I trying to impress? And if you're trying to impress somebody other than yourself, that's something to think about. And the next thing, what am I actually craving underneath this goal? Again, for me, it's really easy. If it's a health-oriented goal, I'm craving that my sugar would be better so I can live, not die, and stay long enough for my children. So when you're thinking about this Daal soup, which is over here, I'm gonna put this on so you can see what's happening over here. It's over here simmering all beautiful and smelling all amazing and turning this nice yellow color, because that's what happens with the Daal soup. And I'll put it back over there. But when you're thinking about how Daal, well, maybe if you've never made Daal soup, first of all, this process right here is about a 20-minute process. We can't rush it. If we rush that Daal over there, the lentils are not gonna harden the way we want to. The flavors are not gonna merge the way, so we can't force the lentils to soften. We can't do that. There's nothing we can do but wait. You give them heat, you give them time and enough water. All of those things. That's how real change works too, right? So, if you have a resolution that has nothing to do with proving someone to someone, what would it be about? So for me, as I'm thinking about going, my resolution has been the same every single year. What? What do you mean it's been the same every year? You haven't gotten there? Yes, let me start. So I'm a cancer survivor. And when I was in cancer, and this soup is over here cooking, y'all. When I was in cancer treatment, I did the opposite of what some people do. Like some people lose weight when they're going through cancer treatment because they can't eat or whatever. But I was on a very unique regimen of medicine when I was on cancer treatment. So after I would have my chemo, I would get what's called a Neulasta shot the next day. And I also would have to be in a 3-day regimen of dexamethasone. Now, dexamethasone is a steroid, and the Neulasta is something that would shoot my white blood cells up so I would not get sick. The problem with the dexamethasone is it also makes you extremely hungry, which is crazy because with me, I couldn't really taste food. This is how I really got into the Indian and Mediterranean cooking, because those flavors were so powerful, I could actually eat them during chemo. So for me, my resolution has been one of the same every single year, and that is to get healthier and healthier. And so as I was on the dexamethasone, I was the biggest I've ever been in my life. I got up to about 230 pounds when I was going through chemotherapy. Some of it is water weight from the medicine they're giving you. So I decided I wanted to lose that weight. And so right now my weight is about 178 pounds, which means I've lost about 230, 220, 210, 200, 190, 180, 170. I've lost about 64, 65 pounds. And I still, to get to a weight for my height, because I'm only 5'1.5", 5'2", but is really 5'1.5". To get to the weight I want to be, I do need to lose about a good 30 more pounds. So yes, my goal and resolution every year has been to be healthy and to lose the weight. But my resolution wasn't something that I got done in 1 year. It is something that I had to constantly work on and constantly make sure I'm doing the right thing, right? So what we're doing over here with these lentils, and I'm gonna show it to you over here again, what's happening. We're allowing them to simmer, right? We're allowing them to simmer, and as they simmer, they actually are getting softer over here. Look at that. Y'all, they smell so good. Right? So I want to say to you, most New Year's resolutions do fail. But they do not fail because we're lazy. They fail because they're built on shame. Anything that is built on shame is not going to work. They fail because they sound like this: I shouldn't be this way. Or New Year's resolutions fail because they say, I have to do better. Or I'll finally be worthy when. That's not motivation. That's self-surveillance. And that's not what we're trying to do, right? So I noticed that the years I grow the most, they're the ones that I push harder, but they're not the ones I push harder. I'm saying that wrong. They're not the years that I push harder. They're the years I get more honest, right? So if I crank this heat up on this soup all the way over here, right? Because we got this dal over here simmering. It only is going to be a few more minutes. If I cranked it up all the way up to rush it, the dal is going to burn on the bottom, first of all. That's the first thing that's going to happen. And the lentils are going to be hard in the middle. And that is exactly what burnout looks like, what goal burnout looks like. Just because it's the new year, be gentle with yourself. Be kind with yourself. Let yourself simmer. Let yourself break down in natural ways. Instead of, I got to get to this gym. That ain't going to work. You don't even have to go to the gym. Maybe start with chair exercise. Maybe build your endurance up first before you try to go hard in the paint. And if going hard in the paint is what you're gonna do, go ahead and do you. But I'm just trying to tell you we need to reframe some things. So let's reframe our resolutions with devotions. How about that word? Practices, questions, boundaries. What that could look like is, instead of asking, what do I need to change? Ask, what do I need more of? So I need to worry about maybe making sure I don't eat too many fruits. Yep, fruits can be bad for a diabetic. So what do? I don't take away the fruit. I could add more protein. I could add more fiber. So instead of taking away when you're talking about doing your resolutions, instead of using the language of taking away, what do I need more of? And anytime we're talking about losing weight, everybody says, get rid of this, get rid of that. No, add more to it. If you could see a 1,600 calorie plate with all the right food on it, it is an abundance of food. Whereas usually a 1,600 calorie of the wrong plate is a potato chips. It's the things that are built on the plate that are not gonna help you, right? So that first reframing I want you to do is asking yourself, what do I need more of? And instead of asking yourself, saying I'm going to stop, say I will try. So give yourself grace. Don't say I'm going to stop eating ice cream. Say I'm going to maybe just do 2 tablespoons versus a half a cup. That way you still get satiated. That's why you still get that little taste, but you don't overdo it. When we deny ourselves, we actually make the thing that we're denying, we actually want it more. So let's just use some wisdom about it. Let's try another one. No, not I'll never rest, but I'll notice when I'm tired and I'll respond with kindness. So I had this habit that my friend let me know that I was doing. I was constantly saying I was tired. She told me I was constantly saying I was tired. And when I'm saying I'm tired, I'm actually calling that to myself. So instead of saying I'm tired, say, okay, I need to put on this calendar some time for me to rest. Because in the day, I may get tired. But if I constantly keep calling that to myself, because words are powerful. We talked about that a little bit in the video yesterday. Words are powerful, right? And you're gonna have what you call to yourself. So if you're saying you're tired, that's what you're gonna get. So respond to yourself with kindness. Take breaks throughout the day. When you're working, give yourself some peace, give yourself some rest, give yourself some relaxation. Don't say I'm gonna fix my life this year. Say instead I'm gonna show up to my life, right? I'm in charge of my life. I hear people say this all the time and it drives me absolutely batty. I hate when people say I have to do this. No. You get to do this. You get to go to work every day. You get to raise your kids. You get to take care of your elderly parents. You get to be a teacher. You get to be a caregiver. You get to cook meals. And when you think like that, no, I hear a lot of people, I hate cooking. Change that. I get to cook for my family. What if you didn't have any food to cook? What if you didn't have any? Just change your mindset. Change the way we say the things that we're saying. So if you're watching live, that's great, but later you can pause and you can finish this sentence for yourself. This year I am devoted to. So for me, this year I am devoted to intentional self-love. And what that means is instead of beating myself up, I'm going to intentionally love myself. And when something goes wrong, I'm going to look at it as if, you know what? Yep, I'm not gonna be crazy about it because I'm not talking about toxic, I'm not talking about toxic kind of where you're lying to yourself. I'm not talking about that. That's not, oh, this is looking so good, you guys. I'm not talking about that kind of toxic weirdness where you don't acknowledge that whatever is happening. No, these things are truly happening. They're not that great. I don't feel good about them, but I'm going to show up in my life. I'm going to be an active participant in my life. I'm not going to say things are happening to me. Things are happening for me. Even the things that aren't to my liking. If you trust that you are a child of God, you trust that even when the things don't go the way you want to, you trust that they're going the right way. Because God would never do anything to harm me. He would never do anything to harm me. So what we're going to do right now, we're gonna I'm gonna move this back over because our lentil, let's do the thing the right way. We're gonna move this back over to this eye and I'm gonna show you, that ginger smells absolutely amazing. I'm going to get my other oven mitt and I'm actually going to grab my blender because we're gonna need this blender. I'm gonna grab my blender and I'll tell you why in a second. And the look at this lentils. These were hard lentils when we started. They are wonderfully divine. Again, if you are just joining me, inside of this pot, we are making dal soup, which is a delicious Indian soup. We have cumin seeds inside of here. We have garam masala. We have ginger. We have turmeric. We have onions, and we have garlic. And then we have a little bit of chili pepper for a little bit of kick. The next thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my, I'm still here, don't go away, because I'm still here. But I need to grab my cord. I should have got that before, because we are going to actually put some of this lentils in a blender, because that's gonna actually help thicken our soup to where we want it to be. So I'm gonna grab my device over here, and I'm gonna use this one versus my blender. I like this one more, it has more control. You just gonna have to be careful with the hot things inside of it. So I'm gonna sit this over here out of your view. And we're also gonna add our can of tomatoes. We're gonna add our can of tomatoes. And now we're gonna start taking, not only we're gonna add our coconut milk. Sorry, y'all, I think I'm kind of getting a little overheated above this. All right, so in here, in our pot, we have all those wonderful things I told you about. And to that, I have added the tomatoes, and we're gonna turn it up past the simmer. We're gonna actually let it cook a little bit. And so in here, I'm gonna stir this up so you can see it. You guys, it smells delightful, that coconut milk. Oh my God, it smells so good. And you're gonna stir that in there, stir all of that in there. And again, you can eat this soup by itself, but since this is my dinner for tonight, I'm going to make some awesome rice with almonds, some crispy almonds, and we're gonna put that on top of that. So this is our soup right now. It is cooking. Gotta put the rest of this coconut milk in here. I put the fat part. Now I'm gonna put the milk part, and you're just gonna let it cook. It's already simmered. It's already did the slow thing that we wanted to do. So now we're just gonna let it cook. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. And also we're gonna add our seasonings. So we have a lot of herbs in there. We have some wonderful herbs, but nothing tastes right without salt and pepper. So we're gonna add our salt and pepper. It seems like a lot, but it's not. This is a lot of soup in here. So this is our salt. And then we're gonna add our black pepper. If you don't like to see the specks in there, you can always use white pepper. I do tell people though, white pepper does tend to be a little more spicier. And then we're just gonna let that cook. And while this is cooking, actually I'm gonna get a little tasting spoon and see where we're at. Ooh, child. And I haven't even added the best part. You guys, please make this recipe. You will be so pleased you did, especially if you're looking for a healthy alternative this year that is flavorful. My God, I'm getting emotional because this is like one of my favorite things, and it is so delicious. Now this right here, this is what's gonna make the magic, but we're not gonna add this yet. We're gonna go ahead and we're going to fill up. We're gonna take our, I forgot what this thing is called, but it's like my little personal blender. And so I'm gonna put some of this soup in here. I'm not gonna put a lot of it. I'm gonna put probably, just fill this up. Because what this is going to do, this is actually going to even make my soup more creamier. So I'm gonna put this in here. And don't fill it all the way up, you guys, because this is still really hot. So you don't wanna fill it all the way up and cause too much pressure to get in there. You wanna leave space so the pressure does not get built up in there. And we're just gonna put the top on this. I'm not going to use, why is it? Take this, and we're gonna put this inside of this. Again, like I said, do not fill this all the way up, because if something comes bursting out, you're gonna burn yourself. And that's not the goal here. The goal here is not for you to burn yourself. So we let that cook. It's on a little high, that's fine. And if you want more than just what I'm using, because you could just add, more to another batch, but what I don't want you to do is overfill this so you have some kind of accident. Trust me. And we're just gonna turn this. Just twist it off, take it back out. It is super hot, and be careful when you open it because as I stated, it is super hot, so let that air. That's why you don't fill it all the way up, because if you fill this all the way up with soup, with the heat that's in there, it can burst on you. So then we're gonna pour that creamy soup in there, and we're gonna stir. Put my glove back on. You guys, this dal soup is done, except for the last couple things you have to add. So it has, if you want it more creamier and less lentils, all you do is take the blender and you put some more of the lentils in there. I don't want it any more crushed than it already is. It's creamy and wonderful. Now, the last part is our 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. This makes it delightful. So we're gonna pour that in there and stir. And we got, I'm here, don't leave me, I'm here. We're gonna do one more ingredient. Oh, you guys, I'm gonna get a bowl. When I tell you, this soup is one of my delightful things that I have. Again, I'm a cancer survivor, and this is one of the soups that just helped me live a better life. When I could not eat, when I could not taste food the way I needed to taste food, that's why I kind of get emotional when I'm making this, because I remember when I had to eat it. I wasn't just eating it because I liked it. I was eating it because the cancer had burned my mouth. Oh no, the cancer had burned my mouth so bad that this kind of food was the only kind of food I could eat. So the soup is done. I'm gonna go to work today. When I get out of work, I'm gonna come home and make some rice. So we're gonna take that, I'm gonna scoop that into our bowl. Oh my goodness, you guys, this soup is so delightful. Scoop that into our bowl, and then we're gonna add some fresh cilantro leaves on top. And there you have it, folks. You have homemade dal soul restoring soup. We're gonna finish this conversation just with some kindness to yourself. We were talking about the New Year's resolution, right? So this bowl of soup, it doesn't demand perfection. If I had put too much salt in it, I could add some more coconut milk. If I had put not enough lemon, I can add some lemon juice to it, right? I just want you to be like that with you. Stay present with you this year. Don't be hard on yourself. Love yourself. That's my hope for you this year. Not a list of things to become with resolutions, but a deeper relationship to who you already are. You are already that girl. You are already that guy. You don't need a new personality. You don't need to hustle your way into worthiness. You need to align yourself there. You just need to stay engaged. Just like this soup. All I need was just a little hint of heat. And look how magic would happen. We started out with hard lentils, and magic happened with them. They softened because we were gentle with them. We simmered them just right. Be that way with yourself. Wherever you are in this year, remain hopeful. If you're uncertain, remain hopeful. If you're tired, remain hopeful. And always remember, I gotta clean that up, it's driving me crazy. You're welcome here in Carolyn's Kitchen. I'll see you next time. Make all the resolutions in yourself that you wanna make this year. But the biggest one I want you to make is to resolve to love yourself, to resolve to be kind to yourself. Happy eating. Have a blessed and wonderful day. Bye-bye, everyone. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up. Stop the video. The soup is ready for dinner. I'm super excited, everybody. It's been a blast to be with you all today.